Well, WWE Night of Champions 2025 is officially done. It's over, and it was a pretty interesting show. A bit lackluster. It was an alright show. But either way, before we get into everything, remember to hit that like, subscribe button. It really helped out the channel. Remember too, I have a Twitch, and also too, I have a second channel. If you enjoy that stuff, check it out. It's all in my description. So the first match we start into is the Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton King of the Ring finals match. And to me, I thought this was a very good match between both of them. I think the only nitpick of this match was that why was Randy kind of playing the underdog and kind of having to work over Cody. I'm like, that should have been Cody in that position just because of Randy saying he didn't do anything in this match to win it. Overall too, I thought this, you could maybe even say it was maybe match of the night, but Cody and Randy had great chemistry with each other. It was great to see this match of all the history and finally see it happen. The back and forths were great, almost with the near falls of one crossroads, hitting one RKO, Cody trying to hit like a springboard, Cody cutter, yeah, again hit to RKO, and then you finally had a moment where Randy Orton was going to try to cheat in towards the end of the match, and by like trying to distract the ref with a chair and turning off the turnbuckle pad, which he tries to throws him into the turnbuckle, and it ends up being backfiring where Cody ends up being able to counter an RKO, and Cody throws him to the turnbuckle, hits the 1, 2, 3, and he's your King of the Ring winner, which is pretty obvious that Cody was going to win because WWE really probably wants to put the title back on Cody because he's the main draw right now. But also too, kind of wonder, is this going to lead to more between the two? I don't know if maybe this is going to be a little bit of a mix of maybe something that involves SummerSlam, because I feel like it's going to be all out interferences like crazy stuff with that SummerSlam. I don't know, because when Cody was doing his little speech on acts about how to fit winning King in the Ring, he was still giving props to Randy Orton, saying he was great. We look at Randy Orton, he had this very evil and mean look to him, and he was kind of like, you can attack Cody, what is he going to really do? And I really wonder where is this going to lead to, because it's definitely going to lead to something. I don't know if maybe he's going to cost Cody at SummerSlam, is he going to win it and then Randy's going to come and hit the RKO, or is this going to be a slow build thing for maybe WrestleMania 42? I don't know, there's many questions with that. I'm not mad with Cody Rhodes winning the King of the Ring, because I figured it's pretty obvious, you probably want to give him back the title, and it's going to eventually happen no matter what. But I'm just happy that we did get this. I thought it was great to see that we finally got this match and all the history that's involved between these two men throughout the years, and finally getting this, but also too, it was a great match. You can argue probably it is match of the night, but I thought both men did a great job. I thought they killed it out there, but I definitely do think that it's going to be ranging to see where things go in the future. But congrats to Cody Rhodes being our 2025 King of the Ring winner. Then we get into Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley in a street fight. And to me, even though I know I have great chemistry from some of their previous matches, just how things have been presented and how they've been going, I didn't expect much from this match. These two women really killed it out there. It was a really fun and good match. This could be match of the night. I thought they did an amazing job out there. This match really helped present Raquel as something that was strong, because the entire time when she's been this bodyguard, especially last year, she looks horrible. It was, how is she going to be believable as this powerhouse figure, this security guard, this bodyguard type? And it's just kind of really ruined her, because Raquel is this powerhouse and shouldn't just be getting dog walked by anybody. I feel like this match really highlighted her, made her look strong, and made her look like she can go toe to toe with the likes of Rhea Ripley. I want to see more of that Raquel on weekly television, because that Raquel is a great Raquel right there. But also too, I think it was very great too, because it made both women go apart, far against each other. It wasn't like one woman was taking advantage over the other. They were both giving each other this hard hitting fight. Also too, you had some of the moments, when Rhea Ripley's arms are tied up between the ropes, Raquel's hitting a freaking, hitting her with a stick and whatever. You're trying to get her moment to try to get her comebacks. And then of course you have Roxanne coming in, and people were complaining about Roxanne, why she being here. We think that, which it might be kind of true. Roxanne wishes that she's not gonna be able to do much to stop Rhea Ripley, but also too, it's because they're trying to rush it. They're slowly trying to tell that bond between Raquel and Roxanne, because since Liv Morgan is injured, they have to put Roxanne with Raquel. So they're trying to build up this bond and trust as fast as they can, because they probably have plans to do with these tag titles. So I don't think it's a bad moment. So I think it's great to see that Roxanne's already being involved in PLEs and being more on TV. So it's great to see her. And that kind of funny, cool moment where freaking Rhea is doing a sliding kick onto Roxanne, which is on the outside of the trash can. I thought that was a cool little spot, but I think it worked for what they were trying to do with Roxanne. It made sense why she was there. But then you also get two more of the moments where I thought this was a pretty unique unique spot to do because you never really seen this with tables, which I didn't think it was going to work because I was worried because you only had one of the legs down. Also, too, I thought the table might just break on them. The unique way of what they did is that they had a ladder by the turnbuckle laid out, and Rhea Ripley was standing on top of it. She takes Raquel up there, and she hits a avalanche riptide, which I thought that was freaking cool, sick, and it was just so unique too from a regular top rope like avalanche move of somebody's finisher. I thought that was very unique, very great. It made it move look very devastating. It looked impactful. I thought that was very, very good on how they did that. But either way, Rhea Ripley gets the win in a pretty good, fun match, and I think both women killed it out there. I'm very interested to see how this goes because we're 2 weeks away from Women's Evolution. Either way, I thought these women did an amazing job out there. Congrats to Rhea Ripley winning the match. Then we get to Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. This match, it was like a make or break for Karrion Kross if like hit, because reports of being like his contract's gonna expire soon this year, and it was kind of like a make or break to see, him finally getting the push that people would want, and I'm so happy too that he got to be on a PLE for him finally giving him this push. And to me, with his performance, to me, he did better than what I expected. Even though it hasn't been much, we've seen a lot of Karrion Kross's performances. I know he's not gonna go balls to walls crazy, not gonna deliver this 4 to 5 star match. At least if he can deliver me a 3 or a bit more, I'm like, okay, we got something here. To me, he did pretty well. I think he did pretty good for his standards, and I thought it worked out well in this match. But in terms of Karrion Kross, I don't want no one to lose their job, and I hope he resigns because I feel like he'd be a great addition to the mid-card division right now. I think he'd be a great addition. I don't really know if they're gonna resign him just because the performance, it was like right in the middle. It was a solid, good performance. Like, it was a solid performance that, was nothing super crazy and nothing super bad about it. It was a solid, good performance that, to me personally, I think he did way better than the AJ Styles match, even though, the situation was different in that match. But also, too, I think he did a good job. To me personally, I think he did a good job, but we have to wait and see if they're going to continue pushing him and if WWE's going to give him a new deal. Karrion Kross was getting this push. We all knew Sammy wasn't going to, no one knew Karrion wasn't going to outpush Sammy in terms of pops and whatever. But either way, between these two men, I thought it was great. Of course, you have Kross, this bigger heel, of course, dominating throughout the majority of the match. You have Sami Zayn getting his moments of coming back, Kross coming back and hitting that. Of course, we get one of those spots we've seen before where, the opponent, like Karrion, is in the corner beating up on Sami Zayn, and then Karrion was trying to do this one where he runs to the rope, the other side of the ropes, comes back, it's a clothesline, it's a second clothesline, gonna run back and hit the third one. Sami Zayn chasing him when he does a look, haluva kick, and then it's 1, 2, 3, Sami Zayn wins. Which, I figured Sami Zayn was gonna win. Anybody thinking that Sami Zayn was gonna lose, you're just stupid, honestly, because it was pretty obvious he's going to win. I thought, okay, cool, Sami Zayn gonna win, it makes sense to give him this good, big win. They're building him towards, probably trying to win that world title whenever they're gonna freaking do that. At the same time, too, I'm like, where does Karrion Kross go? He's in this weird situation of where contract expires soon. We don't really know the whole premise of what they're going to do with the story afterwards. Are they going to give him a new contract? Is he going to continue being on TV? Which I hope he does. It's just we just really don't know what is next for Karrion Kross. I hope he's on TV. I think he should be thrown into the mid-card, be in discussions for maybe mid-card champion, or be in like different mid-card feuds. I feel like he deserves to be on more TV. I think he proved himself to be on TV. I think he did a good job and did a great job out there tonight. I feel like Karrion Kross, he did what he needed to do, and he did it. I think if anybody was expecting anything higher, I don't think it was going to win. I think he did a solid 3-star to 3.5 star performance. But either way, congrats to Sami Zayn on the win. Then we get Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. This match was just bad. Because to me, a lot of people just don't want to say it because they're like, oh, Solo Sikoa has improved so much because he's so funny as a character. I'm like, okay, cool, even though sometimes I feel like he's forcing it a bit too much to being funny because that's all he really has. Dude is a trash in-ring worker, and many of you fans don't want to admit that. Solo Sikoa is just not that good, and he has to overdo comedy to get himself by. Don't get me wrong, I think sometimes he can be very funny. I think he can be funny at certain moments, but sometimes he'd be doing too much, especially in Money in the Bank. He was doing way too much. But we get to this match, and I just did not like it because I feel like with Solo Sikoa not being the best wrestler, I feel like he's really limiting how good Jacob Fatu was and the things they do, and it was a very slow pace. The Bloodline match, Jacob Fatu getting beat up throughout the match, which I expected good to be a Bloodline type style match, but I'm like, really? We can't really Jacob be how he really is. Just really wasn't good of how they were going. The match was just kind of like I don't even remember much about like the actual match. But we get into the ending sequence where we have JC Mateo come out and freaking try to help Solo, but that doesn't work. Yeah, the return of Tongalo, which I'm kind of mixed by. Like I kind of like the memes, but I don't know, I'm kind of mixed by it. But him coming back trying to help. Then you have the debut of Hikuleo, who's going by Tonga now, and he debuts. He ends up I think he ends up slamming Jacob into a table, on the announce table, and then pushing back in the ring Solo. And first on Hikuleo, it's like I don't understand why they wanted to make this some big ooh-ah review when literally he's been on dark matches the past 2 weeks, and it's like, why are we really gonna care? I've heard that he's not really that good, and why would you do that if you're gonna keep this as a big surprise, even though he's been in your company for a year but you haven't used him? And it's just kind of a confusing thing. But outside of that, then we get Hikuleo putting Jacob back into the ring since the ref was distracted by everything. Solo has a Samoan spike, puts him inside out, and Solo Sikoa pins Jacob Fatu, and I think that is the most stupidest, the worst booking decision in this entire night. I thought that was a horrible decision. I did not agree with it. I think that was a bad decision. I don't understand why we are caping for mids. I'm sorry, Solo Sikoa has not been good. You've had 2 major examples of showing why Solo Sikoa should not be champion or be in these big time positions. You've seen it with Cody Rhodes. You let him pin Cody Rhodes. You let him pin Roman Reigns. You've seen those things just don't work out. I don't know why you're going to give him a mid-card title. Continue this dumb bloodline story. Like, it was the bloodline story with the Solo bloodline should have either ended at War Games or Tribal Combat. I don't know why we're in this vortex of continuing this story when we're continuing this and pushing it forward when there's not really much left to it. It should have been ended already, and it's just kind of like, why are we forcing this everyone down everyone's throats? Jacob Solo be the first person to pin Jacob, and not no Cody, not no Roman, not no Damian Priest, not no Braun Breaker, not no Seth Rollins being the first person to pin him. No, Solo freaking Sikoa, man who's been on a dominant run since he's debuted, now has taken a pin. And his first pin's to Solo Sikoa? Gotta be kidding me, bro. That is just stupid booking right there. And also too, Jacob Fatu could have been the guy that could have helped revive that US title. I don't know why you're giving it to someone who's worse when you had someone who was great to revive that US title, because you've already ruined it with that Logan Paul reign. LA Knight could only do as much as he could. You tried to give it to Shinsuke, which was a stupid reason. Back to LA Knight, and you gave it Jacob Fatu. Now, only Jacob Fatu only had 1 match in title reign, even though we all know what this is going to be. It's going to lead to SummerSlam. We're going to get an all-out war of, Jacob Fatu trying to get the Avengers. He's going to get his Jimmy Usos, he's going to get his Damian Priest, and he's going to get whoever, and they're going to all come together to try to defeat Solo so Jacob Fatu can re-win back his US title and then run feuds with Damian Priest and other people. Why do we got to do that? Why can't you just have like Jacob Fatu against Aleister Black or Damian Priest at SummerSlam? Why do we got to do this? Why do we got to ruin a good reign when it was good? Why do we got to do that? But either way, outside of the bad booking decision, outside of a bad match, bad booking decisions in this match, some type of happiness for Solo though, because every person in their career hopes to become a champion, so I guess that's at least the one good thing coming out of this, I guess, for one thing for Solo. But I guess either way, congrats to Solo Sikoa on becoming a new United States champ. Then we get into Jade Cargill versus Asuka, the Queen of the Ring finals, and this match was not good. I think this is probably one of the more weak performances from Jade Cargill since, I think Jade Cargill has been on a stride since WrestleMania 41 with a Naomi match. She's been on a consistent stride of solid matches. Even though we know WWE is wanting to put the title on her, we see the direction they really put on the title on her. They want to put the title on her, even though I don't think she's ready or should be in this position. It would have been building her up in the mid-card, because I understand her presence, her look, who she is, why she's been presented up in the mid-main event. At the same time, I just still feel like she isn't ready for that at all. But it was pretty obvious though that she was gonna win it regardless in this match. I think the match was kind of it was a meh match. I think even her kind of messing up the ending wasn't great. I think Asuka really was the one that really carried this match. I think for her coming back, from her injury, I think this is probably her best performance of her coming back. I think this is probably the best she's looked in a while. Asuka looked very good in this match. I thought she did a great job in this match. Also, I love her look, love the face paint, amazing. amazing. Even though I wanted Asuka to win, and I thought that would have been a better decision for Asuka to win, and I don't want to go in a whole deep dive on why. But you can already see the writing on the wall where we're going for SummerSlam. It's going to be Jade versus Tiffany, and Naomi's going to cash in and become champion, and once again cost Jade. But hey, either way, I am happy that a black woman got to win, a black person got to win Queen of the Ring. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Either way, congrats to Jade Cargill becoming your 2025 Queen of the Ring winner. Then we get to CM Punk versus John Cena for the Undisputed Championship, and this match for the first half was freaking awesome. This match was truly amazing. This match was truly awesome. Even though I wasn't the biggest fan of hitting multiple AAs in the match and having kick out of them and like just making this finisher look so weak of the AA. But either way, I thought this was probably the best John Cena has looked in this entire title reign. Outside of the Randy Orton match at Backlash, like him and CM Punk were really putting on in a great match. They were both really countering each other. Like you got like it reminded you of their 2011 match at Money in the Bank of them going back and forth. Like it was showing that Cena still got it, or Cena was still going, hitting his run-ins, hitting his runs, and doing very good in the match, and looking very good in the match. It was very great, just back and forth. It was so great. It was very fun. Then we get to the later half of the match, where we get to a ref, and this is where this match to me completely fell apart. I personally did not like this later half, and I feel like too many people, because what we get is a ref bump, CM Punk trying to call for refs, Seth Rollins comes out, and them trying to cash in, CM Punk trying to take out some of the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Sami Zayn coming out to try to help take them out, you had Penta coming out to help take them out, and then you freaking had Seth Rollins was trying to cash in on a CM Punk, John Cena comes in, stops him, then you had it where CM Punk, was trying to get back in the ring, Seth Rollins hits him with the briefcase, hits a stop on him, John Cena throws him out. It's the cover when the ref comes back in and retains his championship. We figured he was going to retain his championship, but I did not like this because I thought these guys were cooking in this match. CM Punk, Cena and Punk were cooking, and I feel like too many people have been hating on the Seth faction. Don't get, there is some cons to it. I feel like it's really been stalling the group. I think you just need a title on Seth and put Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker on par with Seth Rollins, but that's a whole nother discussion for another day. I think the main issue with me is this: it was just way too overbooked. Like to me, it took away from the match. Like I understand we're probably gonna get the blow off match between Seth and Punk at SummerSlam, but I feel like it was just doing too much. Like we've been consistently seeing this of WWE overbooking these matches in the main event. Like I don't get like why we can't just have like how a Judgment Day matches would usually be in the past, that we're like, well, you may have a run into people getting involved, but it doesn't take away from the actual two main people in the match. Or why can't we get it like with when Seth Rollins was champion facing Drew McIntyre, Crown Jewel, and there was no interferences, or Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles at Backlash? Like why do we have to have so many freaking interferences matches? Like I understand in terms of the story why all these people were involved in this match, but it was getting very irritating when everything was being taken away from the match, and it wasn't even about CM Punk and John Cena no more. It was about everybody else, and even with the ending, it just kind of felt flat. I think that was a bad booking decision on how they were going with putting millions of people being interfered into this. Like, it's understandable why everybody was involved in it. I just don't think that was the way they should have went. The only good things coming out of this was that the CM Punk and John Cena in the first half was very great. Those two men killed it, and they still got it. And we're seeing the shades of babyface John Cena slowly coming back. And this was probably the strongest performance of John Cena's entire heel run and his entire title reign. But either way, John Cena versus CM Punk, the half of it was still a good match, another half was bad. But either way, that's the John Cena retaining the Undisputed WWE Championship. So these are all my thoughts and my overall review of this year's Night of Champions. But either way, I'm so interested to see where things go next, even though I feel like things need to get better and better booking and better decisions in the WWE. But either way, let me know down in the comments. What are your thoughts and your overall opinions on this entirety of this show? Let me know down in the comments. Hit that like and subscribe button. Check out my second channel and my Twitch. And we're going to have to wait and see what happened next from the aftermath of this year's Night of Champions. We're going to have to wait and find out. But that's all for me, and I'll see you all in the next one.